Hi friends, this reflection is for the 21st Sunday of Ordinary Time. In the Gospel of Luke, Jesus talks about entering what's called the narrow gate. Now, what we do now makes a difference on earth. Well, when we go into the next life. What we do now on earth will make a difference. I think what we have to understand is that only a few people will be saved. And how so? Well, first of all, as Catholics, we're on a pilgrimage. And our final destination is not, oh, well, I want to cross, Italy off my list, or England, or, seeing, all the wonders of the world. But rather, our destination is heaven. And regardless of what our vocation is, we must have that mindset. So the question is, how are we to be known to God? There are expressions out there that go, he's all talk or actions speak louder than words. Well, first off, in order for us to counter those words, if we are Catholic, we are obliged to behave like Catholics. We are obliged to act like Catholics. It's one thing we profess it every given Sunday when we recite the Creed at Mass, but it's another thing we put our faith into action. We serve the poor. We defend the most vulnerable in our society from womb to tomb. We peacefully gather for those who are disenfranchised. We take time to help those who are in need. Love thy neighbor, in case we have forgotten about that. Father Paul Scalia, priest from the Arlington Diocese and the son of the late Antonin Scalia, puts it well when he says, "The faith we profess must be lived. Our words must become flesh." This demand for integrity of word and action helps explain the church rules, restrictions, and requirements. Mother Church wants to keep us from hypocrisy to ensure that we live according to what we believe. St. John Paul the Great once talked about what's called a practical atheism, in which we profess the faith of the redeemed, but not living as the one redeemed. So what does he mean? It's one thing that we say, oh, God redeemed me from my addiction, or from all these bad things that have happened to me. Brokenness, abuse. It's great. Those things are amazing. But how do you plan to bring about the kingdom of God now, in light of those events? Because let's face it, if we don't get our act together now, we're going to experience what St. Luke foretells us. There'll be wailing and grinding of teeth. In other words, we're going to be in a place where there'll be, excruciating suffering. Even St. Faustina shared that in her diary when she bring about a devotion known as Divine Mercy. And in it, those who probably live a life of sin and they don't even realize it, or they deliberately live it, they wound up in a place where there is so much suffering and there's no redemption for their soul. I remember one time coming across a shirt that says, "Make heaven crowded." Well, in order for us to do that, we have to make Catholicism holy again. We can't just, we can't just compromise the teachings, just to, get, appeal the world. We have to live out a courageous faith that will move the world, as G.K. Chesterton reminds us. And we do this by putting our faith into action. In the letter to the Hebrews for this Sunday, we are reminded Endure your trials as discipline. God treats you as sons. For what son is there whom his father does not discipline? Just like how parents had to discipline their children when they're out of line, whether being disrespectful to someone, they don't obey the rules like curfews or anything like that, so too we have to be obedient to God's will, not the will of man. I guarantee you, every time we obey God's will, our lives will change. When we commit to saying, God, I choose to do your will today, let it be done, Jesus will work through you. Even in the letter to the Hebrews, we were reminded that God treats you as sons when we change and conform our life to our calling to God's children. Then those who are last will be first. We will recline with them at the table in the kingdom of God. Jesus wants you in the kingdom of God. How do you plan to be with him now? The time to behave as authentic Catholics with a courageous faith, it's not tomorrow. But as St. John Paul reminds us, the future begins now. I say this with as charitable as I can. But if there's somebody that's watching this video right now, and if you've fallen away from the faith, it is never too late for you. Yes, you have left the church because of a petty excuse. It's over now. It's time for you to come home. It's time for you to proclaim the one holy Catholic and Apostolic faith. It's time to put your faith into action. I guarantee you, it will change your life. Strive to enter through the narrow gate, friends. It will be well worth it. And if you want to enter that gate, you must bring about God's kingdom on earth now. And as we say in the Our Father, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. God bless.